Okay, so what if you had an AI that didn't just answer your questions, but actually did the work for you and did it right there on your own computer? Well, that's the whole promise behind Agent Zero AI. It's free, it's open source, and believe me, it is not another chatbot. This is a whole new category of tool, and we're about to dive into what that really means for you.
You know, this quote just nails it. Think about it, a tireless junior developer living on your laptop. You don't give it a list of step-by-step instructions, you just give it a goal. Now that laptop part is actually a super secure walled-off space called Docker, and the whole keeps working until the task is done bit, yeah, that's the real magic of an AI agent.
So, this slide right here shows the most fundamental difference. On the left, you've got your standard chatbot. You ask it to write a script, and it spits out the code for you. Cool. But on the right, you have Agent Zero. You give it the exact same goal, and it actually opens a terminal, writes the script, runs it, fixes the bugs, and then saves the final working file. One is an advisor, the other is your new employee.
Okay, now before we get into all the amazing features, let's pause for a second. Let's do a little honest onboarding. We're going to cover the 3 things you absolutely, positively must know before you even think about installing this thing. What it really costs, the hardware you'll actually need, and who is really going to benefit from it.
First things first, money. And as you can see on this chart, it is totally possible to run this whole setup for absolutely free. Yep, $0. The Agent Zero framework itself, that first bar, it's free. You pair that with a local model runner like Llama, that second bar, and your monthly bill is exactly $0. The only cost here is your own computer's processing power, so things might just run a little bit slower.
Now this right here, this is the sweet spot. This is what I think is the best value setup for most people. By connecting to a cloud model, something like DeepSeek V3, you get performance that is seriously close to the top-tier models for like a few bucks a month with moderate use. This is where you get the best bang for your buck, balancing quality and cost perfectly.
And now, we enter the danger zone. This is where costs can get out of hand fast. See, when you hook this up to a premium model like GPT-4o and you start using its multi-agent mode, you're not just making one request anymore. You might have a researcher agent and a writer agent talking back and forth. Every single message between them costs money. It multiplies your usage like crazy, and a single complex task can blow through your budget before you even know what happened.
Which brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important piece of advice in this entire explainer. Seriously, before you run your first real task with a cloud model, go into your account settings, whether it's OpenAI or OpenRouter or whatever, and set a hard monthly spending limit. Don't think, oh, I'll do it later. No, do it right now.
Okay, next up, what kind of computer do you actually need to run this? Well, if you're using cloud models, pretty much any modern computer is going to do the trick. If you want to run those models locally, on your own machine, you'll need a little more juice. Think at least 8 gigs of RAM. But for both setups, that first point is the most important one. Docker isn't a suggestion, it is a mandatory safety feature. It builds a secure little sandbox that prevents the AI agent from ever touching your personal files.
So who is this actually built for? Well, I see 3 groups getting a ton of value here. First, developers who want a totally private coding assistant that doesn't send their code to the cloud. Second, business owners looking to automate all those boring, repetitive tasks like market research. And third, professionals, people in law, finance, healthcare, who legally cannot send sensitive client data to a third-party service. For them, a local setup isn't just nice to have, it's a requirement.
Okay, reality check is over. Now we get to the really exciting part. What can this tool do that all the others can't? This is the stuff that makes the whole setup process totally worth it.
The main concept you need to grasp is that Agent Zero is agentic. What does that even mean? Well, it means you don't have to micromanage it. You don't say, step 1, open Google. Step 2, search for this. No. You just give it a high-level goal, like find the top 5 competitors for my new coffee shop idea. From there, it figures out the steps, it takes those steps, it checks its own work, and it course corrects all by itself. You give it the destination, it handles the entire journey.
Now this is its ultimate superpower. This is the real game changer. If you give Agent Zero a task and it realizes it doesn't have the right tool for the job, it just builds one. I mean, it will literally write a new Python script from scratch, test it, debug it, and then save it to its memory. So the next time you ask for a similar task, it just uses the tool it already built for itself. It actually gets smarter and more capable over time.
And hey, if you're juggling multiple jobs or clients, this projects feature is an absolute lifesaver. It creates completely separate, isolated workspaces. It's like having a different laptop for each client. The research and tools it builds for client A will never ever get mixed up with the data for client B. Everything stays clean, private, and perfectly organized.
Okay, so let's see how all this theory actually pays off in the real world. We've talked about what it can do, now let's look at a concrete task that you could automate like today.
Just look at how specific this prompt is. You're not just saying process invoices. You're defining a trigger, a specific email subject, you're defining an action, download the PDF, you're defining the exact data to pull out, and a very specific output file. This is the level of detail that an agent needs to pull off a complex task like this flawlessly. And this is the result. This is what it does. Agent Zero builds and runs a workflow that does exactly what you asked. It monitors your email, it downloads the file, it pulls out the data, and it updates that spreadsheet, all without you lifting a finger. This right here is where you see the real return on your time investment.
So we've seen what it is, we've seen what it can do. Let's bring it all together and help you decide if this is actually the right tool for you, especially when you stack it up against the other options out there. This comparison table really cuts through all the noise, doesn't it? Just look at that Agent Zero column. You're getting 3 massive advantages. 1, it can run 100% locally for complete privacy. 2, it has a simple web interface, so you don't need to be a coding wizard to get started. And 3, and this is the absolute killer feature, it's the only one on this list that can build its own tools on the fly. That is a huge, huge advantage.
So, at the end of the day, it all really boils down to this one question. Are you looking for convenience, or are you looking for control? Sure, managed cloud tools are easy, but you're giving up your privacy and control. Agent Zero takes a little bit of setup, but what you get in return is a private, powerful assistant that gets better over time and works for you and you alone. The real question isn't just about which tool to use, it's about how you want to work with AI from now on.